Chapter 8. The attitudes of the real man. Number 1. Towards the poor and the weak. Lend your arm to the aged and open your purse at the cry of the poor. Guard well against the urge to plunder the unprotected and from treating the destitute with harshness. If you are lacking in compassion, it is well to remember that today one man may be rich and another poor, yet ere a year has passed, the rich man may be working in a stable, and the poor man may be clothed in a fine linen. Such are the balances of life, and it is therefore wise to turn a like countenance towards all men. Help the man in unfortunate circumstances, for anyone can fall into the pit of misfortune. Commit no assault upon him by reason of his weakness, nor turn his predicament to your own advantage. Fill his stomach with bread and drink. Provide a place for him to lay his head. Let your countenance be cheerful towards him, and let words of encouragement fall from your lips. Assess honestly the boundaries of the widow's estate. The land that is lost to the plough is a waste of a man's lifetime. Probably a bit missing there. That was weird. Right. Do not deride the clumsy speech of a lowly man. The fine phrases of the rich man may be pretty things of no substance. Sincerity is rarely bedecked with finery. What a man has in his head and heart is more important than the fine words that fall from his lips. An honest man is slow of speech. He fumbles for words, and he is confused, but his eye is straight. The wily man is quick of speech. His wits are ever sharp from constant use. The just God turns a ready ear towards the outcry of the lowly. Therefore, the prayer of the poor man is greater than the might of sharp weapons. Even though he is of no account among the people of his own time and destitute of the power of fine speech. If you see an aged man staggering with the fullness of potent drink, lend him your arm, that his dignity may be lessened. Treat your elders with respect in the presence of their children. Sit not while an older man stands, or while the weak and afflicted have no seat. If a man, himself being powerful, robs the helpless, he shall be your enemy, nor shall he be your friend. Nor shall he be your enemy in secret, for this would make you a hypocrite. If you see injustice, hide it not in your heart, but cry it from the housetops. Even though you lose your life thereby, even though you lose your life thereby, and your possessions are lost to your children, have no dealings with the robber of the weak and the oppressor of the helpless. Of his estate he is unworthy, and it is just that it be taken from him. A real man is the protector of the unprotected and the counselor of the ignorant, for there will always be those who abuse power and strength to oppress them. They will rob the poor, oppress the afflicted, exploit the helpless man, and seduce the ignorant maiden from the household of her father. They burden the earth, and the real man knows how to deal with them. He shall wield the sword of vengeance in the name of the high God, and justice shall not weep outside the courtyard. Manliness carries it a burden of responsibility. It is not a gown of fine linen, but a coat of mail. Chapter 9. The attitudes of the real man. Number 2. Towards wealth. If God has endowed you with riches, then regard them with pleasure, for the means to good deeds is in your hands. It is not sufficient for a rich man to give to the poor, or to alleviate the distress of the needy. He who He who, having received abundance from God, doles out a pittance to the poor, does but slave his conscience, and it is not truly walking with God. It is the duty of the rich man to cast the weight out. Let's try and get this right. This is old English. It is the duty of the rich man to cast the weight of his riches in the balances, that goodness may outweigh evil. It is the duty of the powerful man to range his might alongside the forces of good in the struggle against evil. He shall protect the poor against the exploiter and defend the weak against the oppression of tyrants. It is not so important to give to the poor man as to remove the cause of his poverty. To help the weak is good, but of lesser importance than to attack their oppressor. The law decrees that the lot of no two men shall be alike. If it were otherwise, earth could not fulfill its purpose. But he who has riches or is powerful or handsome, he who has intellect and skill should bear in mind that he possesses these under the law. According to the bounty bestowed, so must it be returned to the general welfare of a man, and the proper accounting will be demanded by the assessors in the hall of terror. No man is the absolute possessor of riches or estate, for his period of ownership must duly come to an end. Rather, he is the trustee of the riches at his command, and he should regard them accordingly. Look for the man of merit, and see that he does not go unrewarded. Encourage the craftsman, and promote useful works. Let your wealth serve all men, and not be dissipated in selfish indulgences. Seek out the promoters of poverty and distress, and cast your riches in the balances against them. Do not expect life to reward you, or even grant you peace or pleasure. The powerful and strong will be your enemies, and even those you serve will betray. You will not be acclaimed, and may even be derided as a fool. Only your soul will remain steadfast beside you. A rich man is not wicked because of his riches, for this of itself neither makes a man wicked nor makes him good. It is the manner whereby he deals with his riches that determines a man's status. Live in moderate comfort and maintain a position according to your state. Stint not in the acquisition of learning and things of beauty. Shun obstination and publicity, for these are props of the weakling. The riches which exceed your modest requirements are superfluous to your welfare. It's not good. You don't need it. It is by your dealings with the surplus that you will be judged. There is little advantage in the mere possession of riches. The advantage is gained in knowing how to use them. Wait not until men come seeking your compassion, but find them first and assist them without desiring praise or benefit. Let not your generosity be hampered by the riches you have. Rejoice in their possession, for if used for good, your pleasure is without blame. But he who stores up riches beyond his needs and puts them to no good use swathes his soul in the wrappings of death. If rich, become not puffed up because of your possessions, or if poor, be not downhearted, for God in his goodness metes out happiness to both. Count not upon your friends if you are rich and powerful, for they are untried. Can a man of title and position ever be sure he is loved and respected? Can a man of title and position ever be sure he is loved and respected for himself? If the poor man is held in high regard, he can be happy in the assurance that it is for himself alone, and he is at peace. Possessions and the position attract friends, as honey attracts bees, but it is adversity which winnows them. Men test gold for its value, and gold tests men for their worth. To gather riches for their own sake corrupts the soul, but to deal with them in the benefit of others beautifies the soul. See the face of the miser and imagine the dark horror it dimly reflects. And behold the face of the benevolent man. Does it not mirror the radiance within? If on earth man is to learn the eternal values, he must be taught through the perception of earthly values. The contrast of riches and poverty serves its end.